Good morning. Another difficulty started a few days ago. I guess it's been about a week ago now. I was out here on the Beneva roadside facing south when a fire department engine started past, and I noticed that the man riding passenger in the cab, resembled somebody who had been a friend of mine when I was growing up in Miami. I didn't see his face for sure, but I think he was maybe Mike Lyons. So anyway, he was looking to some paperwork, index cards, or whatever that he was holding in front of him, and he used words something like how much of a difference it makes when we go in and talk. Uh, I think those are about the exact words. Apparently, pertaining to a matter that occurred back in probably 1968 in Miami, an accidental fire. Well, I made a video pertaining to the matter back on about April 9th and uploaded it to my YouTube file. And but a difficulty is that yesterday afternoon, I decided to go ahead and review the particular video and found that it was missing. And then also found that I checked my both of my computer files and found that the video was deleted off of my computer files also, and checked the storage drive and found that it wasn't there either. So the indication is that there must be some kind of a cover-up, someone, or whatever, is disagreeing about the testimony, or earlier in life had decided to deliver a different kind of a testimony. But I'm certain that this testimony is exactly factual. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and I don't remember what my exact wording was, of course, but to replace my testimony, I'm going to go ahead and start now. What had happened was that myself and Mike, we had been friends since elementary school, probably since around fourth grade. And we were on our bikes, and we collected some Army surplus stuff. You know, it was so plentiful back then. We had canteens and their web belts, stuff like that. And one day we were riding and decided to make a small campfire out in the nearby woods to cook a couple of cans of chili. We bought a couple of cans of Hormel chili. So anyway, in that area of Miami, suburban Miami, was all suburban city. You know, there wasn't any real significant woods area, except there was a number of acres off of 80th Street behind the Kendallwood development where I live. I guess now these days the Don Shula Expressway passes over exactly the particular area just north of Kendallwood, over 80th Street, probably including what used to be the woods. So anyway, we rode our bikes onto a path. There was a path that we rode to Glaze Junior High School, and it cut through the back of the mountains, the back of the woods along the railroad tracks, where there was also an empty canal bed or whatever. And we walked out into the woods and unexpectedly found a big slab of concrete that had been dumped. It wasn't smooth. It was like a dump truck had been out in the middle of the woods somehow and dumped a lot of excess concrete. So anyway, that looked secure enough. It was kind of a windy day, but we decided to make the small cooking fire on the concrete, and that there wouldn't be any danger, but we were wrong. What happened was somehow, even though it was just a small cooking fire, it was holding a can of chili over, that it just that spread to a few pine needles, and then within minutes, it was all around one side of us, and started to shoot up the side of one of the pine trees nearby. And so we got some palmetto fronds and tried to swat the fire out, but all it did was fan the flames and make it worse. And so I stopped and then and stood back observing the situation better as Mike continued to swat at the flames. And I said, Mike, you know, it looks like it's starting to deliberately circle us. You know, it's impossible for us to put out the fire now. We better get out of here. And I do recall that there was something about the flames that was starting to spread around to behind us also. It looked like it had something of a deliberate kind of a sinister presence about it. And I got Mike to agree to leave, And so we hurried back to our bikes, and we looked back and saw that the flames were way up in getting up into the trees. And we rode our bikes back out to the side road that we entered on, usual road. And then as we were nearing 80th Street, a fire engine arrived. And then the man stopped in his engine, and us kids, not wanting to be in trouble, uh, I guess it was me who particularly said, "No, we don't know how it started." But it was a little bit of a lie, but it was kind of typical of kids back then. Something suddenly so drastic happening when all we were wanting to do was just have a safe cookout. So anyway, the engine proceeded, and the fireman who was driving just smiled. He looked courteous, but he probably knew we were probably who had accidentally started. So anyway, a while later, after the fire, we really felt bad about it. And we walked back. We stood. There was one house that the flames near the yard, and we offered to help put it out, but they asked us to just stand aside. And so we observed while others were on the yard helping to control. And then from then afterwards, we went back through. And excuse me, please, some people are walking past. Hope you're having a nice day. So anyway, we walked back through the woods, and really we felt bad about it. It was completely accidental. And we walked along the empty canal bed, and were surprised when we found some fox puppies. And there was a small cave. It turned out there was a small cave on the side of the canal bed. And so immediately we thought the little fox puppies were crying. So they apparently lost their mother in the flames. So anyway, we felt bad about that also, and so well, let's see if we can go get something for the puppies to eat. We could go feed something to the puppies. So we hurried away to my house and checked the refrigerator, but there wasn't anything there. So we thought, well, we're mostly friends of the neighbors, so I maybe shouldn't have, but I checked the gardener's house, and they weren't there, but the door was open, so I went in and checked the refrigerator and got some hamburger. And we went back to the cave to feed the fox puppies, but by then the fox puppies were either in the cave, or they had walked away. So anyway, like all I just want to do is emphasize that a reason for the first video was that somebody in traffic back in April, I think it was on April 9th, is that back then somebody got into traffic confusion, accusing me of being a fire starter. And it's really terrible. I wouldn't have wanted to ever cause any fires ever, and all through my life I still haven't. But others are of a different orientation, and the indication about the missing video kind of indicates it. So anyway, the fire back in Kendallwood when I was a 12 or 13-year-old had only been accidental. The other student, Mike Lyons, I considered a normal friend. He'd been a friend since elementary school. So anyway, uh, the the fire starter accusation is false. So there was something else I wanted to mention in this, but I can't think of anything else right now. So anyway, against any accusation that I'd have been an arsonist, I'm sure not. And I'm always concerned against the terrible fires that are occurring again in California, and also what had happened in Colorado. Like I mentioned in another video, when I was there last year in August, there wasn't any visibility of the mountains because of fire in the mountains. And I don't ever wrongfully accuse anyone, but I do remember a concern that a cousin I never met, a gay cousin but I never met named Mark Harden, is actually suspected about fire. So anyway, this is all hoping that that whatever causes the fires to occur is stopped, and that the future will be a lot less fires instead. Have a good day.